Welcome to the Embrace It series, where women with all types of disabilities can be real, resourceful, and stylish. With each episode, you'll walk or roll away with everyday tips, life hacks, and success stories from community leaders and influencers. So take off your leg braces and stay a while with Lainey and Estella.
Hi, I'm Lainey, and I have CMT.
And I'm Estella, and I also have CMT, a neuromuscular disorder affecting approximately 2.6 million people worldwide. That's as many as MS.
We believe that disabilities should never get in the way of looking or feeling good. Both Estella and I wear leg braces, and we've learned through our own personal journeys to embrace it.
For more information and exclusive resources, check out our websites at trend-able.com and hnf-cure.org.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button for future episodes and special promos.
We cannot wait to connect with you all and embrace it together.
Can't wait. See you guys soon.
Hi, everyone. This is Lainey, and
Hi, everyone. This is Estella. Thanks for joining us.
we're so happy to be doing our second series of the Embrace It podcast, our second episode of the Embrace It podcast. And we hope you watched the first one. It was all about summer and leg braces. In our second episode today, we are featuring an awesome guest. She's a friend of mine. She's a friend of Estella's, and many of you may know her. And if you don't, you're going to love her. And we want to welcome to the episode Bernadette Scarduzio. And hi, Bernadette.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me, girls.
Thanks for coming on and being our first guest. And like Lainey had mentioned, Bernadette is a huge face in our community, and also the star of the documentary Bernadette, which she'll describe and go into a little bit. But it's basically the reason why I'm here today, and why I became so inspired by her and the work that she does. So thanks for joining us, Bern.
Well, yeah, it was started in 2008 is when, I feel like that's when, a lot of things changed for me. That's the year that I came out as gay. I met Laura. I started filming the doc, and that's also the year that my dad died. So that was it was just a lot. So it was the year that I also came out with, raising awareness for CMT and being the voice for my family and also, the world. Cause I knew that there was so many more people out there than just us, although I didn't know that 20 years ago. So, it started, I would say in 2008, that's when it all, for me, I just decided to let Josh, a friend of mine, film me because he was a producer and in New York, and he came down and was like, why don't we, start filming your life? You have this disease. You've had all these surgeries. He's like, I've watched you, just live your life and still go out and do all these things. He just thought I was he's like, you're so cool. He's like, you're just real. He's like, I want to capture you. I was like, all right, let's do it. And that's pretty much how it started. We just kind of just rolled with it and let the cameras roll. And he filmed me for 3.5 years. So It was a lot of fun, but it was, and that changed my life because as soon as he put the trailer out, it was like people from all over the world started reaching out to me saying, I also have CMT, or, my father has it, or I have a cousin that and people were just coming out of the woodworks.
Similar to Estella in the way that it was very much life-changing, because look at how gorgeous she is and how positive and resilient this person is. And this is a person I want to be friends with. This is a person who I want to know. And that's what you did for so many people who are just now seeing the movie,
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I mean, so in terms of you and, this podcast is all about really embracing your imperfections, your challenges, your physical challenges, and learning ways to adapt. Bernadette, you've had a ton of setbacks in your life due to your disabilities. Can you talk about like the driving, for example, and what you did with that and how that affected you first and then what you did?
Yeah, well, I can tell you from the film, like if you're just seeing the film for the first time, that was filmed 10 years ago. So, and a lot of the filming, I was, well, I, first of all, I quit smoking cigarettes, a couple of
Yay.
years ago. So, yay. That's a huge thing because I was doing a lot of that during filming. It was right after my dad died, and it was just a really hard time for me. And I felt like unfortunately, I can't take it back. Like, the film is the film, but there's so many things I wish I could, like, uh, take out of the film now, but I just can't. And, Laura and I broke up. We've been broken up for over 5 years now. She's married, and, our lives went separate ways. And I also progressed pretty much a lot, where I had to get rid of my car because couldn't drive anymore. I was going like 5 minutes away, and I had to pull over 20 times because I couldn't get my foot on the brake and I couldn't switch anymore. My hands were slipping off the wheels. And then, I didn't even know that there was adaptive cars. I had no idea. I had never seen one in my life. And once I got into that world, that's when I started, talking about it with my community and with all the people that I met that have CMT. And I started just continuing to share my story and my life, because every couple of years I was mourning a loss because I was losing my ability to take care of myself. I had to get a full-time caretaker. Everything happened like 6 years ago. It's like I had to get an adaptive car. I went on Medicaid. I got full-time caretakers. My family all like came and helped me, get me on my feet, helped me, supported me with what I needed to do in order to be Bernadette, because I couldn't live. I was drowning. I told my mom, I said, I can't live like this. I'm withering to nothing. And I was in a really bad depression because I felt like I was useless. I was like, there's nothing, I can't do anything.
Right.
There's nothing I can do. What am I doing here? Why am I here? And then when I got this whole outlook of like, no, you can still drive, you can get help and still maintain, living on your own. Because I live by myself in my own home, but I have caretakers from like 9 to 8 o'clock at night. So that I sleep alone, it gives me my freedom to be able to just live my life, to go travel with my car. And started working for the HNF 6 years ago. Like, everything just like happened. I made a list of things I needed to accomplish in order to feel my best. And part of that was, quitting smoking, eating well, doing more exercising, doing more pool work. So like, this is how like all this stuff, how I came to where I am now is just like my drive to just like want to feel better, despite CMT, and still be able to put on my makeup and still be able to, feed myself, even though I don't cook. Donna or Jenny is here to help me cook, but I can still feed myself, and I can help, put some stuff away. And, I'm able to guide them on things that I need. So it's definitely, it's life changing, but it works, and it's working for me. So
I can't imagine like how you, as a like fiercely independent, strong person, like how like those losses, you just got more and more resilient. And a lot of people, and understandably so, stay in that depression and can't get out of it.
yeah.
Like,
Well, it took me a few years, and like I said, like I still battle with fighting with these mental emotions that CMT can cause, and it's a daily struggle. So I have to make sure that I stay on top of it. Like, when I wake up, I have to make sure I do my meditation, and I do my exercises, and I eat well, and I get enough sleep, and I'm around people that make me happy and that love me, and that I have a good time with, because that's what really it's all about.
Okay, Bernadette, can I stop you? Because literally you just gave the list that is the podcast. Like, that should be, like, we can go home now, because that is exactly it. You literally figured out the things that do make you happy, and surrounding yourself with people, exercising, the meditation, all of that self-care stuff that is so hard to do when you're in a funk, like just doing it probably gets you out of that, right? Like even when you don't want to do it, doing it.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of people that have disabilities don't have the money. That's another problem, is that it's so expensive to be disabled. It actually makes me nauseous.
Yeah.
How expensive it is to be disabled. And I know Medicaid, they pay as much as they can, and they do. They pay a lot and they help a lot, but there's so much involved. And I just want to tell people that are in the spot where they're like, they feel like, oh, I think that I'm getting worse and I might need to adapt or like change things, is that like, try it. You'll find a way to get the money. I didn't have the money either at first. I didn't know where I was getting, things, but they happen when you have a drive, when you have a will, when you have a mission, you have support, friends, family, things will happen. You just have to stay with it. And believe me, I know it's not easy. Even relationships, like, everything happened 5-6 years ago when Laura and I broke up. I still like I never got into a really serious relationship since. I've dated, and but I'm just like, I'm waiting until I want to make sure that I'm okay with me before I can let somebody else, accept me for me. It's really, really difficult being single with a disability, but at the same time, I'm okay with it. Like, I have a lot of work I need to do anyway, so I'm really busy right now, but that's definitely another goal of mine, is to embrace dating somebody and being vulnerable and letting somebody love me for the way I am.
Yeah, I think that's one of the very powerful things that you show in the film, and just in your in the way you present yourself to the world on social media, and it's just it's empowering, because you are who you are, and you're just a joyful person. You love to joke around, you love to laugh and be around your friends, and I just think that just you exude that positive energy despite the challenges that you have. And it's, for a lot of people, it's contagious. I think, it's one thing to try and lecture someone and tell them, give them tips on how to live, but to see it, in its living form, and see somebody who's doing it as a living example, I don't think there's anything more powerful than that. And that's why I was so drawn to your film. And I think once people see that as well, if they haven't already, which we highly recommend, and we'll give the information on where to see it. I just think it just kind of it reminds us that, okay, despite what our circumstances are or what our challenges are, that we are still so valuable to this planet, and we have such a we can make such a positive impact upon the people around us. And it's just just adapting to every single challenge that comes our way, and you've done that just over and over again.
And I think what's also like really amazing about Bernadette, and what others can take from, I guess, our conversation now with Bernadette, is that like Bernadette, when I met you for the first time at the H&F Summit last year, and hopefully I'll see you again this year, hint, hint. Of course. You were with your caregiver, and I think a lot of times people who do not have disabilities just assume someone's life with a full-time caregiver is unhappy, miserable, that they're, they feel like for their own defense mechanisms, they kind of like feel sorry for that person, think that, but you are like the epitome of someone who, like, when I saw you, and my daughter was with me too, who also has CMT, when we saw you with her, it's just, you have an automatic respect for you. And because you're not afraid to ask for help, you have no choice, but you also like do it with dignity. And the person who's with you, who you chose, obviously, is more like a friend. And I just think you like kind of have it going on. Like you really, you figured out what works for you. And you, as a younger woman who's, are you using a wheelchair full time, Bernadette? Still?
Yeah, I can't even use a wheelchair because my hands are so weak. So I use a scooter, and I love it. It gets me around my house, and where my car, it goes right in the van. But you want to hear something funny?
What?
With my caretakers, I was like, when I got Donna, she's used to like older people, and she's been doing this for 20 plus years. She's still with me now. Donna's one of my full-time caretakers. And I like felt bad, like when I got the thermopool and when I was like going to New York all the time. I'm like, I'm like running this girl crazy. And like Jenny, like, I'm like, we got to do this. I got to film. And then I got this. And then I'm like, I got an interview at the beach, and I got
like a personal assistant.
I know. I'm like, oh my God, I feel so bad.
Like the old person who's at home all the time. You are on the go. And
I know. I'm like, sorry guys, like I just have all this energy, like I'm sitting here, I just want to do so much, and I want to change the world, and I want to help people with CMT, and I want to help people, that are just sitting, because I know when you're just sitting around, even though, you feel like just like you're not doing anything, and your blood just gets stagnant, your body gets weak, and you feel like shit. So like,
move it or lose it, right?
Right. And like, it finally like got it on my, and they like, they laughed, but we have a ball. Like they get to go to the beach, or they, we get to travel.
Yeah.
They come with me on, work missions and stuff. And they get to meet a lot of extraordinary people, through me. And it makes me happy, but it's sometimes I'm like, oh God, like Donna, there's just so much I'm doing, but I'm still young, and I still want to, do as much as I can while I still can.
Mm-hmm. And so when you say while you still can, assuming obviously CMT is progressive, like how do you stay positive and not let yourself think about what's next?
I don't know. I remember when I was like 17, I say to my friends, like, I'm going to be in a wheelchair. I know it. When I'm 30, I'm probably going to be in a wheelchair, and it used to like drive me crazy. But then I stopped thinking like that. I'm like, I can't be worrying about when I'm going to be in a wheelchair, or if I'm going to be in a wheelchair, and whatever. And then my dad died. And I think that's what happened. Was it put me in, but the day that I found out my dad died, that minute, my heart never beat the same. And I remember not being able to walk, like just a few days after he passed. I'm like, why? Like, what is wrong? Like, I obviously knew that I was like going through a lot, but it was more than that. And then I never really got stronger. 3 months later, I was in a chair.
Wow.
Yeah. And I knew that I was heading that way soon. And like when my dad was around, we did talk about me possibly getting a wheelchair and using it, a little bit more like than just like going out, like actually using one and getting used to having one around. And then, but I didn't think it was going to be that soon. So I was forced to just kind of do it. I let myself do it because I was so hurt, and I was going through so much, and it was such a big loss for me to lose my father that I accepted all the other losses. I was like, whatever, my legs are getting weak, I'm just going to go. And then all these people with CMT were reaching out to me, and that kept me alive. Like you guys, and meeting Estella and meeting Allison and all these other people through HNF. The film kept me going. My dad died, and then the film came out. And Laura, like I can't be more thankful for having her in my life, for that time, and for having someone care about me so much, during that time, and my family. Like, I'm just so grateful. And, looking back now, I'm like, God, it's been like, 10, 11 years since my dad passed, and I came so far. And I don't know, like right now, like my progression has definitely, I do progress. I notice every couple of years, definitely like more in my hands. And that's very frustrating because your hands, I sometimes think like, God, like, why can't it just be my legs? Why does it have to be my hands? And I'm noticing with my car now, whereas in 5 years ago, I was able to roll up my windows and I was able to do the windshield wipers. I can't anymore. So like, and it's the little things, or I didn't even think of this 5 years ago. Like, can't do my windshield wipers, barely can turn my lights on, hard to get the key in and turn it, my seat, everything, like all these, it's just like, it never ends, But,
so do you make adaptations for all of these things, or?
Yes, they do. So now I got to go back to the adaptive, driving place, and I got to get a reevaluation, and there's things that need to be adjusted now,
And
but I
do that, obviously, right?
Yeah. but I
So,
just go with it.
yeah.
I don't know. And I try to stay strong. I try to keep up with, aquatic exercise, which is my favorite exercise. And,
So
I don't know how I do it. Every one day at a time.
have to do, you just keep going,
I just do what I have to do. I keep busy.
There's a woman on my Facebook page today, actually, who was, she private messaged me in the past, and she water skis, if you can believe it. I've never water skied in my life.
Whoa.
But she was trying to figure out, her hands are really bad, and she wanted help figuring out how to, still water ski. And
Active hands.
yeah, I sent her to Active Hands. It didn't work for her because she liked it for weightlifting, and Active Hands, for those who are listening, is a website, activehands.co, and they're actually out of Europe, but a lot of their products are on Amazon, and they make adaptive hand type equipment for weightlifting and for gripping large objects. The problem with water skiing, which she told me, is you actually have to let go, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is, so she and I talked about it, and I was like, okay, let's think about it. I use for Pilates, I've been doing Pilates for 20 years. And because my foot doesn't go like this, it has metal plates using it. My foot out of normal Pilates straps falls out, and so it would fling the equipment in my face. So years ago, I found straps for Pilates that, hold my foot in place. So I was like, what about something like that for, water skiing that allows you to have the grip of your palms, and then you can let go. So the point is, and how I relate it to you is, here, this woman, she wasn't just saying, okay, I'm going to give up something I love. She is finding and still searching for a way to do it. And, we don't want, as you said, Bernadette, there are so many losses that you experience when you have a chronic condition, and you can get very caught up in all the things you've lost, and you can become bitter, or you can become better, right? And better is a person who is adapting and feeling more confident. I would imagine, Bernadette, that you're probably more confident than you've ever been. Is that true?
I feel, and because I feel so healthy now, I've always ate well, and I've always took care of myself. I smoke cigarettes, but besides that, I don't anymore. But besides that, I always did everything else right, so I always, I feel like I'm in a good spot now where I'm working out, almost every day, and I'm feeling, like my eating habits have changed and they're really good. And, despite CMT, and sleeping well and keeping myself busy, staying around positive people.
What is your, for people, do you have a special diet, or do you do the keto, or you just watch what you eat?
Well, I've always been thin. I always was able to eat.
Oh, I hate her, Estella.
I don't think you guys have a problem either, but I always was people would always say to me, "Why are you so skinny? Why are you so skinny?" I hated it. I'm thinking, isn't that rude to say to someone, "Why are you so skinny?" Well, I used to get that all the time, and I thought it was because of my CMT, because my legs were skinny. And anyway, so I just eat well. I eat a lot of greens. I do my celery juicing, or smoothies in the morning. I eat a lot of fruit. I eat chicken, and I like everything. I eat Thai food, and I just love food. So I will eat.
I'm with you.
But I stay away from. I stopped eating dairy, and I stopped eating gluten about 7 months ago, and it's really helped with my energy level. And
but I couldn't live without cheese.
All right, I got to tell you. Well, listen, I was going to say I didn't completely stop. I would say I cut out maybe 85%. So I don't do any. I will eat cheese, but it's very minimal. But that's the only dairy I'll have, and gluten I'll have on the weekends. I don't deprive myself from it, but I've definitely stopped shopping for it as much, at least for at home. But I'll eat it when I'm out. I'll have pizza. I'm not gonna. I don't, and I'm not really. I never was a drinker. Although now I will have a drink if I'm out, if I'm not driving, but it's very minimal to none. Yeah. So, but I do use my medical marijuana as well. That's another thing I was going to talk about is with my hands not working so well, it's so much easier now with medical marijuana. They make it, these vape pens where you don't even have to hold a button. You just puff on it. They make the oils and the gels now. You can put it in your food. So I don't have to worry about, smoking.
They also make gummies.
Yes. Yes. So it really,
bad experience for me in Vegas a few weeks ago, but that's a whole nother show maybe.
Oh no. Yeah. I highly recommend somebody, getting their license and going to the dispensary. They're great there, and there's all different strands for different types of elements and what would help. Helps with like sleeping.
Actually, in every state, I believe, I forgot what the name of it is, but I got it. Maybe they deliver it to your house when you have a card, so you don't even have to go out of your house to get it. So I found that not just the CBD oils that you can get on the internet, but like the actual medical with the THC in it, right? Is that what it has in it? The CBDs, for neuropathy, for pain, and like my hands sometimes ache, I use that for sure. And it really does work.
Yeah, it does.
Bernadette, what are some of the symptoms that it helps you with other than pain?
It helps me with sleeping. It helps me when sometimes when I need to be creative, and honestly, I have ADD, and being in a chair and having ADD and having all this energy, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go crazy. And it calms that down for me, and it makes me focus on what I can do and what I want to do that'll satisfy me, rather than feeling like, oh my God, I got to get out of this chair, or
almost like anxiety, right? To some degree.
I'm sorry?
Like almost like an anxiety to some degree, right?
Yeah, it definitely helps with my anxiety, which I've had since I was a little girl. I mean, since I could remember being alive, I was scared of everything.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was always scared of my body, like I was going to die, or and it all stems from CMT, because I knew something was wrong. I knew, I just knew it, and when I finally was able to learn about the disorder. And that's another thing, when you have a rare disorder, it's really hard for your family and friends and coworkers and neighbors, whatever, to understand, because no one's heard of it, and they don't. Yeah. So that was another one of my missions. I'm like, you know what? I was always into filming and acting and all that, and theater and all that stuff. I'm like, you know what? Between the documentary and, the fact that I like acting, I'll try to reach out to actors or try to get a part where I can help other people, in the big screen, get this disability out there. So that's another one of my missions is to get, disability and CMT, rare diseases, people that, are in chairs, on the big screen. So I started doing some of that. I'm on season 6 and 7 on Orange is the New Black, just in a couple episodes, and it's just background acting, but it was a lot of fun. And I also did a couple other little gigs that just kind of put myself out there, and they were looking for people with disabilities, and I got it. So it was great. That's awesome. I just keep on, I want to continue to do that, but I think that we really need exposure with, on the big screen, and people with disabilities need to be seen. They need, we need actors with disabilities. So if you're an actor with a disability, if you sing, if you, do plays, whatever, you can still do that. They're actually looking for that now. That's the thing, is inclusion.
It's very exciting.
You're on trend. I can't really end this episode without just talking a little bit about your beach, all the work you've been doing. I mean, since it's amazing what you've been doing with all the inclusiveness and beach access for people. Can you briefly talk about that?
Yes. 2016, I think it was, I decided that I'm looking at the beach, and I'm like, how did I not think of this years ago? But I'm like, I need to talk to somebody about getting mats on Brigantine Island. which is the beach that I've gone to since I was little. My family owns a home there, and some other family members, aunts and uncles. So I went to 3 years ago. I went to council meetings. I wrote letters to the mayor. I spoke with the mayor and other councilmen, and I told them about the Moby Mat, and I told them about my story, how I've been in a chair for 10 years and I haven't been able to go on the beach, and that I feel like it would help a lot of people in the community. And they listened. They put the mat down. Last year, they put down a 360-foot long mat that has like extensions on the sides so you can park. Really cool. And it like blew up the island. Last year was like my busiest year with being on the news and being interviewed about, helping Brigantine get beach accessibility. So now this year they have 5 mats on the island, and every year they plan on adding more mats until it's at least 20% ADA accessible.
You better watch. Tourism may increase.
Yeah,
I'm coming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping next year I would like to throw
wheelchair. Even when you don't use a wheelchair walker, like I just wear leg braces. It's very difficult. Beach. My husband, we were just in San Diego, and he took a surf lesson, and just walking on the beach, as many people know who are listening, is not easy. And how awesome would it be to have like almost like a feeling of pavement or something that you can actually get all your stuff and your body down to the water. So bravo 100 times.
Yeah.
Lives have you made better. Like, that's amazing.
Thanks. Well, I got to say that I reached out. My mom, I have to thank my mom, because my mom's like, you know what, you should, what you did with the thermopools, and you should try to reach out to the company and tell them, you want to help with getting more mats on more beaches. And I was like, cause that is what I want to do. I don't just want Brigantine. I want to help every friggin' beach. So I signed a contract with Moby Mat, and I am now like one of their ambassadors, and I work with them, whereas helping find these beaches that need mats, and hoping that legislators will do it. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. It keeps me busy.
Yay, Bernadette.
Yeah, she's got her hands full and then some. And
got it going on.
But I love that. I think that's one of the keys to embracing it is really, letting go of that shame of what we're dealing with, connecting with other people who are going through similar things and experiences, and then seeing where there's room for improvement, just like Bernadette, you're doing. There's so much work to be done out there, and if we can take that, that depression and that isolation and kind of turn it outwards and start connecting and making, even if it's just a phone call here or there, it's like, it's still part of being part of that progress and making change, because we need as much as that as possible. So I feel like you are such an amazing example of that. And, I think there's room for all of us to take that into our own lives and see and examine how we can do more for the community.
And just even if like the advocacy work, like you and Estella and myself too, are doing, that may not be everyone's thing, but like I think the real lesson from your story, Bernadette, is that you can reinvent yourself. Like you can have a whole new life with a disability, and using that in some way. I mean, whether it is the advocacy work, whether it's joining others, or whether it's writing a book, whatever it may be, you can continue, like you can be the person that you want to be. Like there's no reason to stop, to give up any of that. You can still be yourself and have lots of disabilities. So I think that, you're awesome, Bernadette. I'm just like, I'm honored to know you. I feel so lucky
I feel lucky to know you, honestly. I think you're brilliant and beautiful, and Estella, I look up to you guys just as much as you look up to me. And I mean, I don't want
friends. we'll go have a drink, or I'll drink your drink, and we'll go together.
Yeah,
Just
I
don't
wish
get
we all.
tummies.
I won't drive. Well, that's the best part too, is that like even if you don't have an adaptive car these days, Uber. Yes, it takes money and whatnot, and that's a whole nother story, and maybe another topic. But no one needs to be stuck. Like no one. And when you're stuck, just feel sorry for yourself and make problems worse. So whatever you do, whatever physical challenges you have, getting out, staying busy is the best thing you can do. Right?
Agreed.
Yep.
Thank you so much for coming on, Bernadette. We loved having you.
Yes.
Thanks for having me, girls.
Can you tell everyone how they can watch your movie and where they can find you on social media?
Yes. You can just type in Bernadette Scarduzio. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. And also, the movie right now is on Amazon, and it's on Amazon Prime. You can watch it for free. Or you can purchase it at Bernadette, cmtmovie.com, or on the H&F website as well.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah. So thanks, girls.
Yes. Thank you so much. And we'll be seeing you soon at the summit in November too. You're going to be teaching some aquatic classes there on how to do PT in the water and some of your tricks that you use yourself in the thermopools. So we're looking forward to that. And if you guys are looking for more information on our summit, you can find that at movementismedicine.com or on the H&F website under events. So hope everybody will be joining us for that weekend too. It's going to be good.
And don't forget to follow Trendable. We have some amazing articles coming out with fall shoes for people who wear foot drop. Actually, what was my title? It was a good one. Drop it like it's hot. I don't remember, but tons and tons of resources. So go to www.trend-able.com and then check out our Facebook page as well. Oh, and the t-shirts.
The Embrace It tees are out too. So.
And others. So anyways, we 10% of the proceeds go to H&F, so you'd be giving back.
Yeah.
Okay? So till next time, right?
All right. Thanks, guys.
Guys.
Take care.